let's review a few charts. Hi, it's Nick. It's Thursday. It's been a pretty interesting week, so I thought we'd run through a few major companies that we haven't looked at in a bit. I'll start with Amazon. It's pretty interesting here, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So we have a trend of higher lows and higher highs. Today, the 29th, last day of February, leap day, they started the day on a really wrong foot because of snowflakes. The point of this is that Amazon has made a new breakout, right? But it's not quite that simple, and I'll show you why. If we zoom out to a daily, these are lines that I've had here before. You can see that I hand drew a target that reaches a new high based on the breakout, similar to what we had in the SPY from 145, 146. So we're approaching the upper ends of that. But more importantly, if you look left, this area has been not so kind to the bulls. Taking out the prior fail would open the door for even more upside in the 200s. But for now, I would look into some patience for starter positions. With 10 minutes to close on the last day of the month on a leap year, Microsoft just exploded 1% with 10 minutes to go. Boom. You can see it, and took the whole market with it. Huge buying power in the last 10 minutes in the mega caps. That kind of changed the scoreboard from boring to bullish. Interesting way to finish the month. Let's see how tomorrow plays out. As for trading Microsoft, that's what I would do. I would trade Microsoft. I would not invest in Microsoft at these levels. Great company, worth every penny. It's just not the right thing to do right now. Are we selling rallies? No, we were. Actually, we might be. I take that back. If you want to be a stickler about it, we have 3 lower highs. So, which brings us the next plan of action. This area is going to have to be a battle. And it's probably Friday, the March 1st. If you look back, I'm going to extend it backwards. Interesting spot, right? So the zone becomes interesting altogether. So this is Microsoft. I don't want to go long into a prior fail. So buy the dip into 409 would make a better trade versus an investment. So the bell rang, and look at what Google did after hours, like late after hours. Imagine if you had sold a call at 139. You're going to be probably waking up to an assignment. Strong close for Google. Actually, Google started the day incredibly strong, fell into support, bounced off of a line we've had there for a while, like surgically well, went into a prior fail, unlike Microsoft, who went over to here relative to its day, decided that after hours it would match Microsoft. And if I look left, again, you see us going into a prior fail. Now this one looks like a very easy inverse head and shoulder. So tomorrow, if we take out, I'm going to put an alert, 139.3, you could have a trade that takes you to 140.6, and then there you would have a cluster of sellers. 140.6 if you're a trader. If you're an investor, I do like Google for the long term. This chart on a weekly basis is somewhat bearish. I'm going to say it. I'm going to get a lot of hate for it. In the next 2 months, you're probably going to get an opportunity to buy it under 125, maybe even 120. That's only target 1 of this red W you see in front of you. This is a weekly chart, so it's not imminent. But Google is probably headed lower. I would not hold calls in Google just in case those technicals play out. 132 is probably the immediate target. Chop and then drop to 125 or lower. Then it would make a pretty good starting point. I'm going to put an alert down there to wake me up and get to the area where there are a lot of buyers. Meta is a mess from a chart perspective. I wouldn't recommend anybody short it. It's running on an idea. This is like Tesla 10 years ago. Meta has an incredibly strong current business, and they told us they're opening a whole new company in the metaverse, and they haven't even started. So what are we shorting, right? Technically, this gap right there, you see, there are no transactions in here. That should be a magnet to eventually drop it there. I wouldn't even try to short it. $500, let it be. It's one of those too high to chase and too hot to short. If you want to short it, the way to do it is just buying a debit put spread out 6 months, spending a few $100, seeing if you can double your money, relieve the itch of doing anything major with it. I most definitely would not short it outright because we do not know what they're going to do in the future with regards to revenues. I've covered Apple before, and this is a bearish setup. Today, Apple was saved by the magic hands. You can see I drew this box based on today's price action, and then this happened. They went all the way up here during 10 minutes, flash, spike, flash, crash, and they sit inside my box. So for tomorrow, I'm going to play the box. If we lose 179.5, which is the lower end of the box, Apple is probably going to drop to 165 or 162 in the next 2 weeks over lower lows and lower highs. Credit call spread, bear call spread for this week, actually for next week would work. I wasn't too interested myself. Seems like it's too short of a trade. I would have to pay attention to it, and next week I may or may not have the attention span for it. So I wouldn't do anything with Apple, but I should expect some downside. So the least I can say is not hold calls. This one is by request. Lemonade delivered an upside and then completely rejected it, and now it's down towards the downside. So I could trade it from the long side. I don't like the fact that it has a messy chart below, but it is an inside short-term support that has been proven at least for about a month, so I can trust it from that standpoint. If or by any chance Lemonade loses 15, it would make a much better entry under 13. How can we not cover SOUN Hound? Today, they reported earnings after hours. So the good news is that during the day, they were up 17%. The bad news is that after hours, the stock is falling more than that. You can see it where it's at, which is a pivotal zone short-term. But let's put it this way. If the rally tomorrow during the day after the market opens does not exceed 6.6, there's a good chance this one is under $5. Do your homework. Interesting points for me. And 6.6. They should be a problem for tomorrow. And if they can't clear them, at least the first two, they're probably going to end up lower. CRM last night. There's nothing to do really. The stock didn't do anything. The stock is at all-time highs. I'm not going to start a position in an all-time high. That's one of them. ADSK also reported soaring. I'm not going to chase stocks that are up that much. I mean, this is a pretty good move, much bigger than expected by the market makers. Mara, of course, with the Bitcoin exploding to its all-time highs, Mara was one of the stocks that rallied with it, but now it's down 16% on an earnings report. I don't trade Mara. If I wanted to invest in anything that moves with crypto, I would use crypto, and I did. Stock-wise, this is falling into a prior base. I have to warn you that the rally has been pretty solid, and there might be more downside. Zscaler reported tonight, and the stock, the reaction to the headline, it was negative. It was up 2% during the day, but then they reported earnings and they're down, off the lows, but they're still down. Just like the other stock, it needs to recover. It needs to recover quickly to 232. This is a zone. I don't have a hard line in the sand. I have an area. If it doesn't come back into the area, it tends to revert lower. So be careful with these guys. Zscaler runs very fast, as you can see. I'm going to stop here so not to make this video huge. Maybe I'll make another one.